Today we are in search of the best antivirus software for Windows XP. To get started, we will look at Microsoft Security Essentials. Security Essentials used to receive definition updates automatically. However, that feature no longer works as it was discontinued along with Microsoft's support for Windows XP. There are definition updates that can be manually downloaded and installed from Microsoft's security portal. Let's open MyPal and navigate to. Down towards the bottom of the page, we have download links for various products that Microsoft develops. We can click the 32-bit option next to Security Essentials and save the file. Now let's open it. Not a valid Win32 application. From what I have read about this issue, there is speculation that the registry hack we used to get security updates from the POS-ready version of XP causes this problem. As interesting as it would be to get Security Essentials to accept a definitions update from 2020, for our purposes, Security Essentials is just not a viable option. Next up, we have Kaspersky. Being a 30-day trial, while it is technically free, it won't protect our PC long term. There are some bonus features like parental controls. What is here under privacy protection? Webcam access. That's interesting. I don't have a webcam on this PC, but that could be worth testing at some point. Let's try to update the virus definitions. The update says it is successful, and Kaspersky shows it's up to date, but it doesn't show any information on the definition update itself, like when it was from. Perhaps the last definition update was from 2014. We don't know. However, we can safely eliminate Kaspersky as an option. Now let's take a look at Avira. This antivirus software won numerous awards and had excellent reviews between 2008 and 2016. The version we are installing took a decent amount of time to locate an installer package for. It is version 14, which, as you may have guessed, is the last version that supported Windows XP. According to this, the license expired January 30th, 2017. This pop-up window in the lower right corner of the screen should have some text and graphics on it, but it never loads. I'm curious if that's because it's trying to pull from a web resource that no longer exists. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be possible to update the virus definitions on this version of Avira. I think we can do better. On to the next antivirus program. Let's try installing AVG. My experience with this antivirus program is that you have to set an exclusion for software you want to use. At least, software with internet or network connectivity. Arguably, that is more secure to choose what software has connectivity, but it's also a burden having to set so many exclusions. We are protected. We now have the world's largest threat detection network on our side, and we can brag about it. Click Continue. Let's skip the first scan. Here we are at the dashboard for AVG. Let's try updating AVG and see what happens. According to this, the program version is 18, and it was released in November of 2018. I'm skeptical that there is a better option for XP. We know that the antivirus definitions are current, so it's time to put AVG to the test. Open MyPal or your browser of choice. In the address bar, type in eicar.org. From here, we can download the iCar antivirus test file. This file is simply a string of text that should trigger antivirus software to flag it as a threat. This method of testing is far safer than using an actual virus. AVG does not disappoint. On to the next test. In the address bar, enter amtso.org. As you can probably read from the text on this page, This resource offers a series of tests that can be done to confirm that security software is working properly. Let's test AVG's ability to detect potentially unwanted applications. Scroll down the page and click the Launch Test button. Now save the file. When it finishes downloading, we can open it. This dialog box indicates that AVG did not block executing the file or otherwise warns us that it is a potentially unwanted application. Click Yes, then click No. Apparently we have to click Yes again. On to the next test. Let's try drive-by downloads. Scroll the page and click Launch the test. The idea here is that I didn't click a download button or anything that should have triggered a download to start. Simply by accessing the page, the download begins. My PAL is preventing the file from downloading automatically, which is nice. I can't say that AVG is working in this case, but my PAL is definitely protecting the PC, so we are in great shape. Now for phishing pages. Let's launch the test. Unfortunately, AVG is not protecting us on this front. If you question the legitimacy of a login page, you can always enter the wrong password on purpose. The real site will only accept the correct password. A fake website will accept anything you type in the password field. For the last test, we have compressed malware. This is testing AVG's ability to detect a virus within a compressed file. The connection was reset. This may be the correct behavior in this instance. After trying multiple file types and different PCs, I get the same response, which is good, because that means we are protected. All in all, AVG works great, especially considering it's installed on XP, which hasn't had official support from Microsoft since 2014. Next up, we have Avast. As of 2017, Avast is the most popular antivirus vendor on the market, and had, at that time, the largest share of the market for antivirus applications. Notice down here at the bottom of the installer, there is a checkbox with a checkmark already in it for installing the Google toolbar. I'm not a big fan of bundling software like that, so let's uncheck that box. From here, we want to click Customize, so we know what components are being installed. There is a rather large list of components available for Avast. On the face of it, that is a lot for free antivirus software. If we had just clicked Install, all of these components would have been included. Let's leave it that way and proceed. This splash screen looks oddly familiar. Is it the same as AVG's? Yes, it is, because AVG Technologies is a subsidiary of Avast. Here in the interface, if we click around, are links to those various components. Notice that a majority of them have an orange lock symbol in the upper right corner of the tile. This indicates they can be accessed with a premium subscription. According to Avast's website, the last version for XP is version 18. No new features will be made available to that version, however, there is no mention of a date definition updates will be discontinued. I located a post on MSFN from November of 2018, confirming that Avast version 5 was still getting definition updates at that time. This is good news. Hopefully version 18 will continue to receive definition updates far into the future. Back to looking around the UI. This component here does not have a lock symbol on it for updating drivers. Let's try this and see what happens. We have to install a separate program. Okay. Let's run the scan. It finds 2 drivers that are out of date. If we click the little I symbol over here, it should give us more information. Okay, the installed audio driver is from 2006. That date looks familiar. That is the date used for all of the compatibility mode drivers. The new version it recommends is from 2008. That is probably from Intel directly. Let's try to update the drivers. This program does not indicate it requires a premium subscription, but it is behind a paywall. That is disappointing. On the plus side, it does locate an updated driver, and it gives us a version number. That may be somewhat helpful in locating the updated driver manually. On the landing page when we open Avast here is this smart scan. Let's run it and see what it does. Okay, it found some potential issues with the registry. These are probably a result of having uninstalled all of those browsers from the previous video. Just as I expected, repairing the issues is also behind a paywall. We know that Avast and AVG are similar, but let's put Avast to the test just to make sure. As we did before, we can try the potentially unwanted applications test. Same result here. Avast does not block it. Now we can try the drive-by download tests. Again, we can save the file, and as we could have guessed, Avast would detect the threat. Next up, we can run the phishing test. Avast is also not protecting us on this front. As we can see with the compressed file test, this happens with Avast too. It is unclear if we are actually protected or if this is an issue with the website itself. So what is the verdict? You can't go wrong with either Avast or AVG. It's personal preference. The silent mode in Avast is great. It prevents pop-up warnings and other notifications. On the other hand, AVG doesn't install a bunch of components that are locked behind a paywall. Now we have a good idea of what antivirus software we want to use, and some more tools for how to stay safe while browsing the web in Windows XP. Subscribe for more great content and click the bell so you don't miss any of it. Thanks for stopping by. See you next video.